It's Saturday night, the 5th of April. This is James Spann. Since we have a couple of counties in northwest Alabama under a tornado warning, thought we would go into some live coverage here. So this is the current radar, and the Weather Service in Huntsville has opted to issue a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for parts of northwest Alabama. This is specifically for parts of northwestern Franklin, parts of Colbert, and parts of Lauderdale counties. And again, we will get in here and take a look at the specifics. And again, this is going to be a radar-indicated tornado. In fact, let me expand the radar view a little bit here so you can see more of the eastern side. There we go. So there's the polygon that is currently on the screen. And again, this is not the most classic tornado signature here. You can see we have a line segment that's coming into the western part of Franklin and Lauderdale counties, kind of clipping northwestern Franklin. And that's moving on to the east. And the main issue here will be strong gusty winds. And again, you can see evidence of stronger winds within the velocity display, which is over here on the right, but not really a classic tornado signature at this point. But let me first off describe who's in and who's out in terms of the polygon here. Now, if you're in Russellville and Franklin County, you are not in this warning. I know that you might hear outdoor warning sirens, but you are not in the warning. Red Bay, not in the warning. Phil Campbell, not in the warning. The polygon is for a very small part of northwestern Franklin County. Again, the larger cities not involved here. Let's describe who is in. Cherokee is in. And you can see the polygon stretches right over to the Shoals. Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals. Florence right on the edge of the polygon. And this does not include Waterloo up here in the northwestern part of Lauderdale County. So that's the situation. And again, you can see that line segment is coming on through. And really and truly, the main issue down here, it's going to be strong, gusty, straight line winds with this. And again, as we start to look at the social media channels here, we've seen no reports of any damage. And again, that's a good thing. We've had some reports of damage back in Mississippi, but conditions in Alabama are not what we saw back in northeastern Mississippi earlier tonight and or in recent days in parts of Tennessee and Arkansas. It's not the same circumstances. And again, the main concern with the activity coming in tonight and tomorrow, it's going to be heavy rain, potential for flooding, and strong gusty winds, and maybe some small hail. And again, clearly and obviously, the chance of a tornado, it's not zero here. It's not especially high, but there certainly could be an isolated tornado or two. So again, I would say if we're looking at any particular part in the line, it's going to be right here. And again, this is US 72 right here to kind of get your bearings straight. And again, you've got the potential for what could be a little spin-up tornado here. Muscle Shoals here. There's the Tennessee River. Florence is right here. And again, this is US 43 coming south out of the Shoals, and Russellville is here. And again, we stress Russellville is not in the tornado warning. Red Bay, no. Phil Campbell, no. This is all north of there. And again, the main county that's involved in this is Colbert County. But this does include a small part of Lauderdale and a small part of Franklin counties up in northwest Alabama. So let's quickly kind of expand this out. And again, you can see just a big mass of rain that's over middle Tennessee and north and western Mississippi. And the main concern with this, again, it's just going to be a lot of rain. And I would suggest the main concern is going to be from flooding. And again, we're expecting rain amounts in the 2 to 3 inch range, as this will just slowly creep through Alabama late tonight and during the day tomorrow. And we have a flood watch in effect for the northern 2/3 of the state. for tonight, tomorrow, into tomorrow night. And even Monday morning, parts of South Alabama could see some lingering rain. And that could create some flooding problems, obviously. And again, the heavier storms could produce some small hail, gusty winds. But notice over here in Mississippi, we have no tornado warnings at all. All the polygons you see here, those are flash flood warnings in effect. The green polygons. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect down here west of Jackson for the storms out toward Vicksburg. But again, no tornado warning there. So really the only tornado warning within the line is that warning you see here for a small part of northwest Alabama and a small warning up here near Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, Lawrence County, Tennessee. So again, let's go in for a tighter look here. And I know that in the comments section, this is when everybody says, what about my hometown? And we'll try and go through some timing here in just a second. But we're watching a batch of heavier storms that's coming into the Shoals up in northwest Alabama. The reason we're here, there's a tornado warning for a very small part of Franklin County. I mean, a really, really small part of Franklin County. We can almost give that little small part of Franklin County an all clear from this. It is mainly for Colbert and a small part of Lauderdale County. And again, we're watching the area right in through here. If there's a spin-up tornado, it's going to be in that zone right there, which is just south of Cherokee, just south of US 82. And again, this is moving northeast in the general direction of Florence and Muscle Shoals. But again, it's not the tightest couplet. It looks more like a straight line wind type thing. But looking at the text, the Weather Service in Huntsville indicates that weather spotters did confirm a tornado with this. So they're now calling it a confirmed tornado. And the warning is in effect until 10:30. And the spotter reports were across the state line at Tishomingo State Park back when it was over Mississippi. And again, this rotation would be right there, about 3-4 miles south of Cherokee. And again, that'll be coming up into the Shoals here. So, and understand it's night. The tornadoes we have here in this state, they often happen at night. Then they're typically almost rain wrapped. These are HP supercells, obviously. You're not going to get a good look at them. We've learned from the social science studies that most people really don't do much when they see radar like this. They just see a bucket of spilled paint, and we understand that. We really do. People will respond when they actually see video of a tornado or the damage is caused, but obviously with rain-wrapped nighttime tornadoes, you just aren't able to see them. So you'll just kind of have to take us at our word here when we're showing you the radar. And again, we've got evidence of what could be a rain-wrapped tornado right in this region right here. Again, just south of Cherokee, moving in the direction of Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals. And again, you can see the polygon extends out over into the Shoals. So if you are in the polygon, we ask that you respect the polygon and be sheltered. And again, I know it's not convenient on a Saturday night here at 10:06, but the place to be would be a small room, hall, closet, bathroom, lowest floor, near the center of the house, away from windows. And of course, no trailers, no mobile homes. You need to be in a community shelter or a business that's open that can serve as a shelter. And of course, the other thing is the fact that we just don't want anybody in a car. A car is the worst possible place to be. No cars, no mobile homes. And for those in a site-built home in your shelter, we encourage everybody to pop on a helmet. A bike helmet's perfect. If you have kids that play sports, batting helmet, a football helmet, a motorcycle helmet. Most of the people that are injured in tornadoes, it's blunt force trauma above the shoulders. And again, by putting on an inexpensive helmet, that will really increase your chance of not being seriously injured if you take a hit from a tornado here. So again, the circulation very clear south of Cherokee, moving in the general direction of Red Rock and Barton, and then ultimately the Shoals if it continues. And the circulation looks much better now than what we saw 5 minutes ago. When we first came on the air here, it looked more like a just strong gusty winds, but now the circulation is certainly improved here on the radar presentation. So we'll stay with this here. It's 10:08 on Saturday night, and I can clearly tell you that the danger is over for Franklin County. So you're from that little bitty small segment of Franklin County, all clear for you. The concern now, it's Colbert and the southern part of Lauderdale counties. And again, we've got a lot of older legacy systems, and these outdoor warning sirens, as you know, that's the worst possible way to get a tornado warning. In that some of the older systems, they're county-based, and for example, we've heard of sirens going off in Russellville. Russellville has never been under a tornado warning, never. They're not in the polygon, not even close to the polygon. And you might have heard a siren in Phil Campbell or some Red Bay or someplace like that. So it's just a problem with the older legacy systems that sound for an entire county where we've not warned by counties in years. We've warned by geometric shapes called polygons. So really quickly, while we are talking about the event itself here, this is a look at the timing. And again, I don't have time to go through every community in Alabama, but if you're watching us, this is the window for the heavier rain and the stronger storms. Understand there could be some rain before and after these windows. But obviously for the Tennessee Valley and northwest Alabama, now until 7 a.m. Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden, Demopolis, Clanton, 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. And then Montgomery south and east, 11 a.m. tomorrow until 9 p.m. And the severe weather threat should fade down in southeast Alabama. But again, through it all, the main concern, it's going to be heavy rain and flooding because of the very slow motion of this. It looks like a surface low is going to form on the front that will keep it moving just very slowly through the state. But there could be obviously an isolated brief tornado or two like the one we have now. That is south of Cherokee. It'll be crossing US 72. And in terms of travel, obviously we don't want anybody driving on US 72. And if you're in the Shoals, again, that's obviously our next big population center here. The advice is to go ahead and be sheltered. So again, if you're just joining us here at 1010, we have a potential tornado that is located just south of Cherokee, moving northeast in the direction of Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, Quad Cities, northwest Alabama. We hope it just goes away, and we don't expect long-lasting tornadoes here. We don't expect the long-track, violent-type tornadoes. The ones that we see, if we do see tornadoes with this event, are typically going to be the brief QLCS-type tornadoes. QLCS is quasi-linear convective system tornadoes that don't stay down long. They get down for a few minutes, they go back up. But every tornado is dangerous. It doesn't matter if it's a long-track, violent tornado or a small, short-lived tornado. They're all dangerous, and you have to treat them seriously. And again, you know the saying here, respect the polygon. And that's going to be the theme for this. Let's take a look at the correlation coefficient product to see if we have any debris lofted, and we really don't see that right now. What you see on the left over there, that's correlation coefficient. And the way that works, when the radar beam comes back to the radar, radar sends out these pulses of electromagnetic energy that reflect off raindrops. And if the beam comes back in a different way, it's a negative spike on that product, and that would mean it's not a raindrop, it's not a hailstone, it's not a hydrometeor, it's something different, and it would be something like boards, bricks, glass, nails, tree limbs, debris. So when you see a big lowering in the correlation coefficient product that jives up with a good velocity couplet like that, that would represent debris that is being lofted, and that means a confirmed tornado. And we don't see that right now. It's not there. It might pop up a little later, but again, at the moment, there's no debris signature, which is a good thing. Still, there could be a small tornado down. So there's a look at the new volume scan. And again, the spot to watch is going to be right here along U.S. Highway 72, just east of Cherokee. And let's just say that if you're over here in the western part of Colbert County, we can give you an all clear. If you're west or southwest of Cherokee, you're good. The concern now, it's going to be up here in the direction of the Shoals. And again, that circulation is right on US 72, and it will be coming up into Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, Florence here in about 10 minutes or so. And obviously, when we get this into a population center like that, we'll know pretty quickly if there's anything down. We are watching reports from the Weather Service very carefully in Huntsville. And again, so far I've not seen any specific damage in Alabama from this. There's been some damage back in Mississippi with this line segment. So again, let me kind of expand this out. We'll do an animation. This is part of a big batch of rain back in Mississippi. And really, once the leading edge of this passes your location, that pretty much ends the chance of severe storms in a classic sense. The problem will be shifting from the chance of severe storms into heavy rain and flooding. So just got a report that the winds have gusted to 48 miles per hour in Cherokee. And at that particular spot where the winds were measured at 48, the rotation missed that sensor site just to the south. So that's a pretty good little wind gust there, 48 mile per hour gust. And again, that's not truly severe in the classic sense. To be severe, you need 58 mile per hour winds or greater, but still 48, that's a pretty impressive gust. So again, winds gusting to 48 at Cherokee with this line. And the line will slowly come on across the Tennessee Valley. And I would suggest as you go farther to the east, the chance of a tornado would really drop off. The better chance of a tornado with this event is going to be on the western side of the state, especially up there in northwest Alabama over the next couple of hours. And again, I think as we go into the after midnight hours, everything kind of transitions from the risk of an isolated tornado or two just to a big rain mass, an outflow dominant rain mass overnight. But as always, listen, it's early April. Any system that comes in here this time of the year, you've got to watch it very carefully. And it's been a pretty fascinating situation throughout the week. We've had multiple days of just horrible, severe storms and flooding north and west of Alabama. And again, this upper ridge has kept Alabama out of trouble. It's kept the severe storms and flooding north and west of the state, but the ridge is obviously breaking down, allowing this to creep in here tonight. So, again, let's take a look at what we've got. Again, we've got the circulation pretty much right on U.S. Highway 72, about 8 miles southwest of Florence. And again, the circulation should be in the Shoals, Florence, the Quad Cities there within the next 10 minutes or so. And again, I know it's not exactly what you want to do on a Saturday night at 10:15, but if you are in the Shoals, in Florence, the advice is to be sheltered. Small room, lowest floor, near the center, no windows. Helmet if you have one. And we will give you an all clear as quickly as we can. In fact, if you're in Cherokee, we'll give you an all clear right now. The risk of a tornado with this storm has ended for you. And obviously, it ended a while back for that little part of Franklin County in the warning. And again, we'll give us an all clear as quickly as we can here. Checking the latest updates from the Weather Service. They're still calling this a confirmed tornado based on a spotter report back in Mississippi. But again, the warning has totally been canceled for Franklin. And again, for Cherokee and points west, you're good. You have no issues here. The concern now shifts over into the Shoals. And the circulation looks a lot better now than it did about 10, 15 minutes ago. And we're looking at it coming off the Columbus Air Force Base radar. Let's go over to the high top radar and take a look at it from a different angle. And this is going to be a little farther away, and the beam is just too high in this situation here. The beam is at 9,300 feet. And again, we got a lot of range folding, and it's just too noisy. So let's go back to the Columbus Air Force Base radar. And that's a much better look. The beam is about 5,000 feet off the ground. And still, it's 5,000 feet off the ground. That's the one thing we say all the time. This is why spotters are so important. The radar beam, as you go away from the site, will obviously get higher off the ground because of the Earth's curvature. And again, in this case, we're at about 5,300 feet where we got that rotation. So we know that there's rotation at 5,300 feet. The question is there anything on the ground? And through that, we pretty much have to depend on spotters and products like correlation coefficient. In fact, let's take a look at the CC product, and we still do not see debris being lofted here, which is a good thing. There still could be a tornado down. A tornado down could get down briefly, and debris just doesn't get up into the radar beam. And we hope that that's the case if anything is down at all here. But still, based on that velocity signature, there's no doubt as a course of least regret, you want to stay in your safe place until this thing passes. Also seeing a little evidence of a little bounded weak echo region over here in the reflectivity right here. And the bounded weak echo region, often known as a BWIR, correlates with that velocity couplet, which again is just a sign that there certainly could be something there. So the message here, if you are in Florence and the Shoals, now is the time to be in your safe place. And obviously we encourage nobody to drive. And this is a case where you can help us. So right now there's probably somebody in Florence that's not paying attention. Everybody's watching the Final Four, Duke and Houston. And they might not be aware of this tornado warning, or maybe they're watching a movie on Netflix, or maybe they're just having a quiet evening and they're just not aware of this. What you can do is help us. If you know anybody in the Shoals, just call them and tell them that we've got potential for a tornado and there's a tornado warning in effect. And you might want to be in that small bathroom, interior closet, hallway, and ride this thing out in a safe place until it passes. This will be east of the Shoals here in about 30 minutes. It's not going to be long. And again, once we get the leading part of this on by, there's a pretty good chance this will be the last severe weather event for any given point. And again, from that, it shifts into a heavy rain flooding type event overnight and during the day tomorrow. So again, we're monitoring a whole lot of different sources here. And again, all the videos I'm seeing, all the images I'm seeing, it's awfully dark, and it just looks like a lot of rain at this point. And again, we've had a report of winds gusting to 48 miles per hour at Cherokee as the storm line passed through. And again, forget the small tornado if there's one down here. We're going to see some pretty strong winds coming into Florence here and the Shoals in a matter of 10 minutes or so. Strong straight line winds, and these winds could easily be enough to knock down trees and power lines. So just be aware of that. So we are at 10:21, and we are in the process of watching what could be a small tornado. The rotation is in the vicinity of Barton, the community of Barton, and it's kind of coming over the county line into Lauderdale County. And again, the current tornado warning is set to expire in 9 minutes. And again, this is not the tightest circulation you're going to see, but there could be certainly a brief spin-up tornado in here involved. We've kind of lost that BWIR, the bounded weak echo region over here in the reflectivity, but again, the velocity is still showing potential for a tornado. And our friend Ben Luna with Tennessee Valley Weather, Ben is now reporting a tornado, apparently, he believes, on the ground from their camera at the University of North Alabama with power flashes. And when you see power flashes, that would typically represent what could be a tornado that is down southwest of the city. So, again, there's just been some evidence that there certainly could be something here. And I would imagine the Weather Service in Huntsville will probably extend the tornado warning out. And if you're over here in Killen or Leeton, just be aware that you might be in a tornado warning polygon here pretty soon. if indeed they do extend this out. So 1022, we've got a tornado warning in effect for a part of Colbert and Lauderdale counties in northwest Alabama. This is the northwestern corner of the state. And understand, this massive rain and storms will not reach places like Birmingham until sometime around 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's going to be a very slow process. Occasionally, we'll have these fast-moving lines of storms coming in here. But in this case, it's not going to move quickly. It's going to be a very slow-moving line. And again, there's a look at the animation. And you can see how that the couplets seem to really peak in intensity around US 72. And again, the velocities have maybe come down a smidgen over the last couple of volume scans, but again, there's clear evidence that we've got rotation within the radar beam and maybe a small tornado that is down on the ground. And again, like we talked about, we really don't expect the long track violent tornadoes like we've seen in other states, but again, this certainly could be a smaller tornado that is down. And again, you can see that couplet, which is right there, coming right into Florence and Sheffield. We note a report from Colbert County EMA that a house fire has been reported on the west end of the county out around Cherokee because of an apparent lightning strike. And there's obviously a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning. If you're in the Shoals, you know it's pretty much nonstop. You can see all the lightning hits on the radar map here. Again, I'm seeing a lot of videos, and it's just mainly just a lot of rain and lightning. And again, if we have a tornado down, it's going to be so hard to see. It is a challenge to do this with a squall line late at night. And goodness, we've done it so many times over the years. It's kind of the norm here. And again, the signature's somewhat noisy, and I would suggest that there's certainly going to be some pretty strong winds coming into the Shoals right now, straight line winds that may be in the 40, 45, 50 mile per hour bracket. And looks like what the Weather Service is doing, they're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning, and maybe that's been in effect the entire time here. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for a larger part of Lauderdale and Colbert counties and a little bit of northern Franklin County. Again, that's the yellow polygon you see here. The red polygon, that's the tornado warning. So again, we've got what could be a small tornado that's coming. It really looks like it's coming more perhaps into Florence as opposed to Sheffield, Tuscumbia, the Shoals, areas north of the Tennessee River. But again, everybody in the polygon needs to stay sheltered. And here in a matter of minutes, we'll get another update and see if they extend this warning out. Getting more reports of power flashes now along U.S. Highway 72 just east of Barton. And Ryan Carty, who's a spotter, he says we have pieces of tree debris and small pieces of wood hitting the truck. So again, we've got reports of power flashes not only from a spotter that's on the ground, but also from some of the cameras on the University of North Alabama campus, the UNA campus. And when you see those power flashes, that would typically represent the fact that a tornado could be down and through here. And again, that tornado signature is coming right up toward Florence. And again, a reminder, we're at about 5,500 feet on the beam here. This is the radar coming out of Columbus Air Force Base, and we're kind of in that spot where the beam height is pretty high. You'd prefer to see a lower beam height, down toward 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 feet to get a better idea of what's happening close to the surface. But again, you can't have a radar everywhere. And again, yeah, look at that. You can see, again, there's the latest volume scan. And right in here, we still got that bounded weak echo region and reflectivity. Got a pretty good velocity couplet that's coming right up into Florence. So if you're on the University of North Alabama campus, you're in the city of Florence, or Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, stay sheltered. And again, if you can't, put on a helmet. Bike helmet, perfect. Batting helmet, football helmet, motorcycle helmet, small room, lowest floor. You do not have to be underground. It's amazing the survivability we see with even violent tornadoes from people that are not underground. There's kind of an old wives' tale that's saying you've got to be underground to survive a tornado. That is simply not true. So we have our extension now. This is the tornado warning extension for the possible tornado that is coming up into Florence. The tornado is right here. So this is the new extension of the warning. for Colbert and eastern Lauderdale and a small part of Limestone County. So our new tornado warning will include the community of Lexington, up near the Tennessee state line, Rogersville, which is right here on 72, Killen, which is right here, the community of Anderson. These are all communities in the Polygon. And again, we have a potential tornado that is very close now to Florence, right here, moving northeast. And again, that's going to come out into the eastern part of Lauderdale County. We got a very small part of Lawrence County involved in this. And if you're in Moulton, this is not even close to you. This is far, far north of there. In fact, let me just kind of read off the new tornado warning. It's till 11:15. And a tornado is right on top, basically, of Sheffield right now, coming right through the Shoals. And again, there's your tornadic circulation right here. Again, Sheffield here, Shoals here, Tuscumbia down here, Florence here. And that is moving northeast. The tornado is moving at 40 miles per hour towards the east-northeast. And again, multiple confirmed reports now with the power flashes and spotters and cameras and everybody else. Pretty good evidence that it's down. And, of course, we do not want anybody to be driving. And if you're listening to me, maybe somebody in the car has got a phone, you're listening to the YouTube or the Facebook stream here, the best thing to do is just pull off and get into some place that's open, a fast food restaurant, a gas station. Anything offers better shelter than a car. And again, this will not last long. It will be out of the Shoals here pretty quickly. But we've seen this over and over. Even small tornadoes can take a car and flip it like a toy. And so many people get injured. So again, our new extension of the tornado warning goes until 11:15. And this does include a small part of Limestone County and a very small part of Lawrence County, but mainly it's eastern Lauderdale and southeastern Colbert counties. Again, for this potential tornado that we believe is probably down right now. Again, just to get your bearings straight, that rotation is coming right into the Sheffield and Florence right now. St. Florian is up here. You've got Killen, which is right here. Lexington is up here. Leeton is down here. And again, it's moving about like that. And watching some more of the reports here, Ben Luna, our friend, is seeing more power flashes and some of his cameras up in the Tennessee Valley. Drew Richards is reporting a number of power flashes coming into Florence. So again, the Weather Service in Huntsville, based on the power flashes that are being seen, they are listed. They're listing the tornado as confirmed. So again, this is a confirmed tornado, and the warning will go until 11:15 for the next 45 minutes. And again, as soon as we can, we'll give you an all clear if you're in Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals. But again, that circulation is pretty much on the river. Kind of coming out of Sheffield, coming up into Muscle Shoals here, moving about like that. Again, I'm watching watching some of the video here. I can't take it live at the moment, but I can see that. And again, from time to time, we see these blue flashes that would represent the fact that a tornado could be down at this point. So it's a reset here. It's 10:32, and again, if you're in the concern here, it's the northwest corner of Alabama, the Shoals. If you're in Huntsville, this is not close to you. If you're in Cullman, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden, Montgomery, this is not close to you. This is the northwestern corner of the state, and the concern right now, obviously, it's for what could be a tornado that is coming through the Shoals, specifically Sheffield and Florence. I think it's safe to say that if you're in Muscle Shoals or Tuscumbia, most likely the rotation is north of you. It's up in here, closer to Florence. And again, we've got clear lightning activity and power flashes coming off the camera network that we can see here. And which would represent the fact that a tornado is, it could very well be down right now. And what happened, the circulation really started to tighten up a little east of Cherokee as it crossed over Highway 72, and it's continued to look pretty good in radar images here as it's coming on through Florence now. And again, we're watching Ben Luna reports multiple power flashes through the city of Florence. From the UNA camera site, and obviously all the UNA students should be sheltered. University of North Alabama at Florence, and you cannot be up high in a dorm room. You cannot be on any floor except the first floor. There's no safe place up high. You've got to be down low, first floor. And again, you do not have to be underground to be safe in a situation like this, but you've got to be in a small room. Nobody should be in a car. Nobody should be in a mobile home, in a trailer. And again, let's kind of expand this out and talk about the areas that are in the polygon. In fact, let me kind of expand it out a pretty good ways here. So this is your new tornado warning polygon right here. The polygon does not include any part of Morgan County. Decatur is here. Athens is here. And I know a small part, a tiny part of Limestone County is in the warning, but this does not include Athens. Doesn't include Elkmont, Ardmore. It doesn't include Huntsville. Huntsville is right over here. And obviously it's something to watch, but that, based on the current motion, that circulation will likely move into Tennessee north of Athens if it stays together. Not sure it lasts that long. So got another report from a spotter of a tornado, or what could be a tornado down, and with strong RFD winds. RFD is rear flank downdraft. That's on the backside of the tornado along Alabama Highway 133, about 3 miles north of Highway 72. So even if you're not directly affected by a tornado, this batch of storms is certainly producing some very strong winds coming up through the Shoals up in northwest Alabama. And again, most likely, if this thing does stay down, it's going to wind up moving into Tennessee, something like that, probably north of Athens. Again, Athens is down here. Decatur is down here. This will not be affecting Decatur at all, and probably not affecting Athens at all. If it stays down, most likely the effect in Limestone County will be west and north of Athens, and then moving up into Pulaski County, Tennessee, up around the community of Bethel. But again, you've got Rogersville and Killen, Lexington, Anderson. These are communities out in the eastern part of Lauderdale County that are in this tornado warning. So if you are in any of these places we're calling out, again, just we advise you to respect the polygon and stay sheltered. Real quick, looking at modeling, just to show you what the radar might look like tomorrow morning. This is the projected radar tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, and the storm's just getting into Birmingham. A lot of people are asking about areas to the south, and again, this is a situation where it's going to take a while. It could be sunrise tomorrow morning before they affect cities like Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Gadsden. They should be coming into Huntsville, the heavier storm, sometime probably 2-3 a.m., 1 to 2 a.m., something like that, but it's just going to be a very slow process. This is tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, raining down in southeast Alabama, and even at midday Monday, there could be some lingering rain down over southeast Alabama. But again, if you're just joining us, this is the projected windows for the heavier storms and the chance of any severe weather. Obviously now until 7 a.m. for the Tennessee Valley and areas north and west of Birmingham. Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden, Talladega, Clanton, Alexander City, 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. tomorrow. And then southeast Alabama, south and east of Montgomery, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. Tomorrow night. And we do remind you that there is a flood watch in effect for the northern two-thirds of the state. We are expecting rain amounts in the 2 to 3 inch range for the northern two-thirds of the state. That could create some flooding problems. And I really think for most of Alabama, that's going to be the main concern. This is not a classic setup for tornadoes for areas south and east of the Shoals here. There could be another isolated tornado, yes. I mean, come on, this is early April in Alabama, but the greater concern for the rest of the state, heavy rain, flooding, some small hail, and strong gusty winds. So the signature is not as impressive as it was 5 or 10 minutes ago. We've got a pretty good wind signature here coming through east of Florence now. And hopefully that's the tornado, if there was one down, has lifted. And we think there was one down based on the reports we've seen of power flashes. And hopefully the warning will be taken out here if this trend continues. But you just don't cancel a tornado warning based on 1 or 2 volume scans, because these can be cyclical. And when they're cyclic, they can come right back, and you don't want to have to reissue a tornado warning. So they'll let this thing go and watch future volume scans. But the circulation is clearly a little broader in the last volume scan here. And we're just, we can just, let's wait about 1 more minute here. We'll give an all clear to Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals. It's going to give us about 1 more minute, and then you can get out of your tornado safe space. But again, if you're downstream, Killen is here. US 72 is here. This is Rogersville. Lexington is up here. Anderson is right here. And I love coming to the schools up there. I was at Brooks not that long ago in Killen. I was at Lexington not that long ago. These are great schools in Lauderdale County and great communities as well, but you want to be sheltered. So, again, we're seeing evidence of pretty strong winds in through here. In fact, let's peek and see what the velocities are looking like. You can see within the radar beam almost 80 miles per hour. Now, understand, this is 6,400 feet off the ground. The winds at 6,400 feet are about 80 miles an hour. But some of that could be translated down to the surface, and we could see straight line winds gusting to 40, 45, 50 miles an hour. So again, most likely it's very windy in this zone right here east of Florence. But right now we can give an all clear. If you are in Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, the risk of a tornado from this storm, it's over. You can go on about your business and get out of your tornado safe place, and thank you for doing that. And again, I have not seen any damage so far based on what I've seen here. But again, it's very early, and it's certainly possible that there could be some damage. But I'm looking at a whole lot of content here, and I'm not seeing any damage at this point, which is a good thing. But there certainly could be. Again, we've seen all these power flashes, and typically when you see some power flashes, there's damage somewhere. And again, what I'm going to do is probably transfer a little video real quick so we'll all be able to see this together. And by the way, we're going to have a whole new setup here beginning this summer when it comes to covering the state of Alabama. We'll be announcing soon, but I'm very excited about that, and that we'll be able to do this much more effectively. All right, I'm almost to the point where I can flip some video here. Again, it's 10:41. This is James Spann. We're live due to a tornado warning up in the northwestern part of the state. And we have a tornado warning in effect now for the eastern part of Lauderdale County. The risk of a tornado has ended for Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals from this particular storm. Of course, the question is, could there be another one? It's possible, but again, at this point, I'd say it's not especially likely. The emphasis will be shifting over to heavy rain. So let's see here. Let's take a look at some of the video together. This is a look at the storm coming into the Shoals. And this is from Justin Adams. Justin, thank you for the video. Again, you can see, obviously, we have some lightning there. Again, I've not seen any specific power flashes on the video yet, but yeah, you just saw that. You see the blue flashes near the ground. Those are the power flashes that we often mention here. But again, if you're in Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Florence, Muscle Shoals, the risk is over for you. The emphasis is over on the eastern side of the county. And again, this is video taken within the last 15 minutes of the storms coming into the Shoals. And, of course, we have cloud-to-ground lightning, but from time to time you'll see those blue flashes near the surface like that. Those are power flashes. They reflect off the low cloud base. And typically with power flashes, either you have a tornado or really strong straight-line winds. So we just got a wind gust of 62 reported at Muscle Shoals when the line came through. This was a little earlier, so again, winds have gusted to 62 miles per hour at Muscle Shoals. So in that straight line wind, and again, you know, there's the chance of a small tornado, yes, but again, we've clearly got strong straight line winds involved as well. Seeing a lot of power outages increasing now. And again, this is the latest volume scan. And again, what we're seeing here now, instead of a tornado, this is more of a signature of strong, damaging straight-line winds that's coming through Killen down toward Leeton, and that will be coming out toward Rogersville. It's basically riding right down the Tennessee River, those strong winds. But at the moment, we're not seeing the classic tornado signature here. We're seeing more of a straight-line wind signature. But still, respect the polygon if you're in it and stay sheltered over the eastern part of Lauderdale County. And obviously, nobody should be driving along US 43 or US 72 as the storms come on through there. And again, you've got Rogersville, which is right here, Anderson, which is up here, Lexington, which is here. This is a small part of Limestone County that is in this warning. Most likely, if a tornado redevelops, it would be north of Athens. But again, that is not a tornado signature now. We're seeing a signature of strong straight-line winds in through here. And again, you can see winds of, well, there's an 85 right there. There's an 89. So we got 90-mile-per-hour winds, 6,700 feet off the ground. The beam height is 6,700 feet. And that would certainly translate into pretty strong winds down at the surface. Not 90 miles per hour, but maybe 50, 60, 65. And again, we've had winds gusting to 62. So, again, the Weather Service will continue the tornado warning for a little while longer until 11:15. And again, I think it'll be canceled before that, obviously. And again, we just don't see a tornado in the data now. We're seeing strong straight-line winds. That is not a tornado signature. That is more of a wind signature here. And that'll be coming right down Highway 72 into Rogersville very shortly. And understand, you know, that straight-line wind could certainly affect Athens. But the Weather Service in Huntsville has trimmed out the warning. They've taken Limestone County out. There was a little bitty part of Limestone County that was in the warning. They've taken that out, and I think that's the right thing to do. And they'll if this trend continues, I think they can cancel the tornado warning and go with a severe thunderstorm warning here shortly. So again, Florence, the danger is over from this. The tornado risk is ended from this storm. Same thing for Muscle Shoals, Sheffield, Tuscumbia. The tornado signature has basically gone away. We have a straight-line wind signature here that's east of the Shoals, continuing to move off to the east, moving in the direction of Rogersville and maybe Athens. And again, that will, in fact, while we got a second here, let's go back to just the reflectivity and kind of show the big picture. And we do know we've still got a couple of tornado warning polygons over here in northeastern Mississippi. We'll look at those real quick. We have one that includes Tupelo and Fulton, Mississippi. Really, I'm not seeing much there. And another warning southwest of there, and really not seeing much there. And again, what happens, sometimes you get a good-looking tornado signature and it goes away in one or two volume scans. Again, these are not going to be long-lasting, long-track tornadoes. These are typically going to be short-lived tornadoes that are not down long. But again, just having said that, we do note that we have a couple of tornado warning polygons back in northeastern Mississippi. But that's the big view. And again, you can see that we've got the line running from Middle Tennessee through the northwestern corner of Alabama back into North Mississippi and West Mississippi. And for most of the line, the issue, it's flooding. We've got flash flood warning polygons all the way from Vicksburg to Nashville. And the rains have been tremendous. And for Alabama, we are expecting rain amounts in the 2 to 3 inch range. So again, we've got 3 tornado warning polygons. This is the one for eastern Lauderdale County, Alabama. We have 2 back over here in northeastern Mississippi. And that line segment that came on through the Shoals, you can see it's packing a punch. The winds at Muscle Shoals Airport gusted to 62 miles an hour. And the strong winds will continue as it kind of moves into the eastern part of Lauderdale County. We really don't see a classic tornado signature now. And again, hopefully that will stay the case. Here is a report from Colbert County EMA. Over 2,200 are now without power in the Baker Lane and Cedar Hills estate areas. Also, 1,400 are without power in the city of Sheffield. So the number of power outages continues to increase. And again, that's a sign we had either strong straight line winds or a small tornado that would be coming through. We've heard of no damage. A lot of people are asking about the University of North Alabama. We have seen no indication of damage there, but it's early. We really don't know. At this point, exactly everything that's happened here. We will, in coming hours, of course. And again, we're getting a lot more video in, which is awfully helpful. And again, that's the one thing we have learned from the social scientists. People tend to react better when they actually see video of weather. And of course, with rain-wrapped tornadoes at night, we really can't do that very well. But let's see what we've got here. This is some video that is coming in from Tuscumbia, and that is a tree down across a road in Tuscumbia. And I'm afraid that, and that's one reason it's really not a good idea to be driving on a night like this, and that you don't know what trees have been blown down on a highway. And oftentimes power is out and you can't see far ahead of you, and you come up one of these downed trees and you've got a real problem. So again, driving is not the really best idea in a situation like this. And again, that was taken in Tuscumbia. And see, looking at some more video coming in here, I'm seeing some more evidence of trees that are down. Again, this is from Ford Avenue in Muscle Shoals. So we're seeing pretty clear evidence that we've had some pretty rough weather come through the Shoals. But let's go back to the radar here. We're live at 10:52. And as you can see, we have a tornado warning in effect now for the eastern part of Lauderdale County for that line segment. And let's stop it and we'll take a look at the reflectivity and the velocity side by side. This is velocity here and reflectivity over here. And again, really and truly, we got broad rotation near Lexington, but that's very broad. That's not a classic tornado signature here. And really, for the rest of this down and through here, that's just evidence of strong straight line winds coming into Rogersville. And again, the beam height here is about 7,400 feet off the ground, but we're seeing evidence of winds of 80 miles per hour within the radar beam, 7,400 feet off the ground. And again, down at the surface, we could see winds of 45, 50, maybe 60 miles per hour coming right into Rogersville. So again, and also we note too, there's a bit of a bow here. And often when you see a bow-shaped echo like that, right on the apex of the bow here, you can see some pretty strong winds. So if you're in Rogersville, clearly stay sheltered. I don't think there's a tornado there, but the winds could be very strong, possibly enough to create some damage here. So a tornado warning remains in effect for a while longer for the eastern part of Lauderdale County. And getting more reports from the Weather Service in Huntsville of trees down in Tuscumbia and Muscle Shoals. We've talked about that. We've shown some video here. But I've not seen any reports of structural damage so far, which is a very good thing. Again, this is what it looked like coming into the Shoals earlier tonight. And from time to time, you'll see lightning, but also from time to time, you will see the blue flashes near the ground. That would represent the power flashes that would typically mean you've got either a tornado or strong winds in progress down at the surface. There's a power flash right there. And again, that would certainly represent the fact that it's been a rough ride for Florence, no doubt about that. So let's go back to the radar. And again, you can see that we've got heavy rain falling in parts of western Lauderdale, western Colbert, northwestern Franklin counties over here. But again, we stress there's no severe weather in here at all. The concern, it's this bowing line right here coming through Rogersville with potential for strong winds. There is broad rotation near Lexington here, but that's not a tornado signature. That's very, very broad. In fact, there's the new volume scan. And again, you can see some winds right at 80 miles per hour in the radar beam height, which is 7,800 feet off the ground. Just for the fun of it, let's go to the high top radar. And we'll take a look at that data. And of course, this is all inbound now. And the beam is 6,400 feet. And again, we're seeing some 55, 60 mile per hour winds in through here. So it's pretty similar to the other radar, which is at Columbus. And again, we're watching this little feature right here. There's some maybe evidence of what could be some rotation along U.S. Highway 72 near Elgin right there, but again, that's not really a classic tornado signature. I would still suggest the greatest problem we have now, it's strong, potentially damaging straight-line winds. And those stronger winds are coming into Rogersville right now. Again, this is US 72 right here. And there's Rogersville. This is Anderson. This is the county line. This is Limestone County. This is Lauderdale County. But the tornado warning polygon ends at the Limestone County line. Got a few more reports. This is coming from Lawrenceburg and Lawrence County, Tennessee. Reports of street flooding at numerous locations up in Lawrenceburg. And that makes a lot of sense. This is a very slow-moving line. This will not be coming through quickly. And again, I really think for most of Alabama, the main problem here, not tornadoes, but flooding. And again, there's a flood watch for the northern two-thirds of the state. I'll show you that real quick. The counties in green on this map. The southernmost counties are Sumter, Marengo, Dallas, Lowndes, Montgomery, Pike, and Barber. And then counties north, all the counties in green on that map. That's the flood watch in effect through tomorrow night. And again, some of the rain could actually linger into Monday morning over parts of east and southeast Alabama. So Houston beats Duke. How about that? Just saw the score flash up there. And hated that Auburn lost their game tonight. They've had what an amazing season they've had. So it looks like the national championship will be Houston will be taken on Florida. How about that for a national championship game? Colbert County EMA reporting numerous trees down throughout the entire county, which makes perfect sense based on the radar signatures and the videos we've seen here. And obviously the power outages continue to increase over the Tennessee Valley up in North Alabama. So again, there's a look at the line itself. And we'll kind of animate this. And the velocity couplet looked pretty good coming through the Shoals, Florence. Really, Sheffield and Florence and Tuscumbia. And now we've kind of morphed into a damaging straight line wind type event, which is coming through Rogersville and Anderson. Again, the Weather Service in Huntsville, I would imagine what they're going to do here is post a severe thunderstorm warning that will be in effect for parts of Limestone here soon, and that we just don't see any strong evidence of a tornado in eastern Lauderdale at this point. And again, if you're just joining us, we are live at 10:59. It's basically 11 o'clock on Saturday night. We've been working a tornado warning. This is an isolated spot of rotation up in northwest Alabama. It came through Florence about 15, 20 minutes ago, and Sheffield. And again, you can see it coming through right there, kind of coming basically right along the river. And we've seen power flashes from the cameras there. And now we're looking at some strong winds. That would be coming through the eastern part of Lauderdale County. Getting some more videos here. We'll load these up here in just a second so we can see what's happening together. And thanks, by the way, for everybody that takes the time to send in images. And again, I tell people all the time, obviously, in a situation like what we have here, I'm not able to repost or share all of them, but they are all seen and they are all very much appreciated. They really are. So again, we're going to drop some new photos and videos into the set here, which will again give us an idea of what's happening on the ground. And let's see. Let's take a look at this one. This is, I'm afraid, a good example of what's happening over a pretty good chunk of the Quad Cities up in northwest Alabama. That's a pretty large tree that's down here. And we're seeing more and more images like this. If you look really carefully, you can see some damage here. It looks like this is a home. Maybe some siding or some materials blown up on the roof here. And again, all of this is coming from the Shoals area. And some more video that's coming in. We'll take a look at this together. And again, that's obviously some trees that have been blown down. At least the power's on there. That's the one good thing about that. But again, that's some tree damage up in the Shoals area. And we've got one more video, and it looks like this is going to be another pretty big tree here. So again, it's been a pretty rough ride for Florence and Sheffield, Muscle Shoals, Tuscumbia. All of these images and videos taken as the storms came through about 30 minutes ago up in the northwestern corner of the state. And, of course, we've got obviously a problem with power outages that have been increasing there. So it looks like the Weather Service in Huntsville, despite the radar signature, they're going to keep a tornado warning going here. So let's look at our new tornado warning. So we will stop the animation And again, if you're going to find a spot where there might be some trouble, it would be right in through here. And again, you can see that this warning includes the northern part of Limestone County. This does not include the city of Athens. Again, we want to make that perfectly clear. When a warning comes out, we like to be specific about who's in and who's out. So let's take a look at the polygon here. So Athens is down here. And again, if you're in Athens, you are not in this warning. Decatur, nowhere near the warning. The trouble spot would be right in through here, moving east-northeast. And again, Elkmont is in the polygon. Ardmore, Alabama, Tennessee, you're in Alabama in the polygon here. And the major highway, obviously, is Interstate 65 right here. So north of Athens, Interstate 65 is in a tornado warning polygon. So just be aware of that. We advise no traveling on US 31 or Interstate 65 coming north out of Athens. US 31 is right here. And those would be the major north-south highways. Now, US 72 is down here, so US 72 is basically not in this polygon in Limestone County. But it does include US 31 and I-65. So the Weather Service in Huntsville has decided to extend the tornado warning out into the northern part of Limestone County until 11:45. We've got very broad rotation near just north of Rogersville, moving to the east-northeast at 45 miles per hour. And again, this is a severe storm that is capable of producing a tornado. We really don't see the classic signature right now. The greater concern, I would suggest, is strong straight-line winds. But again, that will be moving over into, it's basically moving into Limestone County here in about 2 or 3 minutes. And that will be coming across the northern part of Limestone. And again, Elkmont is right here. Ardmore is right here. Athens, again, I stress, you are not in the polygon. There's no danger to you from a tornado here, a potential tornado. But everybody's going to see the batch of rain and storms. I mean, everybody in the whole state of Alabama, at some point, you'll deal with that batch of rain and thunderstorms here. So, again, tornado warning in effect for northern Limestone County for the storm that is coming out of eastern Lauderdale County. So, again, this is what it looked like for those that were not seeing it the first time. This is what it looked like coming into the Shoals a little earlier this evening. And you can see from time to time the blue flashes near the ground. That would be the power flashes because of disruption to power lines and transformers. And the storm did produce quite a bit of tree damage. We know that. This is all damage coming from the Shoals. Looks like maybe some damage to a home here. But a lot of trees have been blown down up in Florence and Sheffield. And all of this happening about 45 to 50 minutes ago when the line of storms came through that part of northwest Alabama. So again, back to the radar. If you're just joining us here, we have a tornado warning that's in effect now for the northern part of Limestone County. And understand this does not include the city of Athens. This does include Elkmont and points north. And that will be in effect until technically 11:45. I would imagine they'll probably be able to cancel that before then as the system continues to move pretty quickly. And again, it's not really a classic tornado signature at this point. It's the concept that a storm that is capable of producing a tornado. Here's some more video coming in from the Shoals area. This is damage at Gatman Park in Muscle Shoals. And again, you can see some structural type damage there. And again, I would imagine we have a lot of trees down that area as well based on what we have seen here. And it's been that kind of night. And of course, what happens now, the Weather Service tomorrow will send in a survey team to determine if the damage was caused by either straight line winds or a small tornado. And again, I stress that if we do have tornadoes tonight, it's not going to be the long track, violent, upper end EF 3, 4, 5 tornadoes. These will be the short-lived, smaller tornadoes. But understand, every single tornado is dangerous. In fact, there's looks like a new warning issued up here for Lawrence and Giles counties in Tennessee for that same line segment there. So again, Lawrence County and southern Giles County in Tennessee under a tornado warning as well. But certainly the one thing I think we can promise, the winds are going to be strong one way or the other, whether it's a tornado or straight line winds. The signature there really suggesting strong winds coming into the northwestern part of Limestone County, and those stronger winds will be moving through northern Limestone, north of Athens. And again, Athens, you are going to have thunder and lightning and heavy rain. But remember, to be severe, the storms have to have either 58-mile-per-hour winds or 1-inch diameter hail. Lightning, heavy rain, that has nothing to do with severe criteria, weird-looking clouds. But again, evidence is quite high. We've got some very strong winds with that. In fact, I think it's probably more productive at this point to shift over to the high-top National Weather Service radar. And yeah, you can see a much better view of the northern circulation up here. This came out of Lexington, and that is moving to the east-northeast, and that's the reason for that warning for southern Giles County up in Tennessee, and for Lawrence County in Tennessee. The circulation will be passing well to the south of Lawrenceburg. There's the circulation here. Lawrenceburg is up here. Pulaski, Tennessee is here. It's kind of on the northern fringe of that, but again, that's moving like that, and that'll stay north of the Alabama-Mississippi state line. So again, it's a pretty good evidence of what could be a tornado that's southeast of Lawrenceburg and north of the Alabama-Tennessee border. But again, down to the south, there's just not much going on down here with the tornado signature, if you will. That's more of a straight line wind signature. And thankfully, on the volume scan, even to the north, that tornado signature looks a lot weaker up in southern Tennessee. But straight line winds, absolutely. And we've had a lot of that with the storms that have come through the Shoals earlier tonight. Again, that's just one example of the trees down there. Show some more of the damage video coming in from Muscle Shoals and Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia. A lot of trees are down. And, of course, along with the down trees, we have power outages. And, again, notice if you're driving, it's just not a good night to drive because you come up on one of these things, and if it's around the curve and you don't know it's there, you can run right into these. And that will ruin your day, trust me. So you might consider holding off if you can until tomorrow, driving up in that part of the state. Again, all of these videos and images were taken within the last 50 minutes or so. Again, watching many, many reports. Coming out of the Weather Service and other sources here. But again, so many questions I see on the live streams on YouTube and Facebook about the rest of Alabama. So I guess let's just take a quick look at what's happening elsewhere. And if you notice, it's all calm. For most of Alabama, we got some scattered showers over here on the western side of the state through parts of Fayette, Lamar, Marion, Pickens, Winston counties, but nothing severe at all. And off to the west, we'll pop on the Jackson, Mississippi radar. And you can see the line segment coming into Mississippi out of Louisiana. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings for Vicksburg, for Jackson, for Yazoo City, but those are not tornado warnings. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, for Alabama, as the line comes on through, I really, really, really believe the biggest issue will be from heavy rain and flooding. It is going to be a very, very slow process with this activity. It's not just going to zip through the state. And again, rain amounts in the 2 to 3 inch range are likely. I would say the storms will reach Cullman and Huntsville probably toward 3 a.m. 2 to 3 a.m. It's going to take that long. Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, probably 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then Montgomery, closer to maybe 10, 11, 12 noon tomorrow. It is the whole system, it's kind of under the winds aloft that are parallel to the storms, and they're just moving to the northeast with little southward motion. But as the ridge breaks down, we'll slowly see that moving to the south and east. But for most of Alabama, the main issue, heavy rain, flooding. There could be some small hail, strong gusty winds. Could there be an isolated tornado somewhere else across Alabama? Yes. Hey, this is early April, but I just don't think it's going to be a major problem here. All right, so let's go back up. We're going to stop this and go to the high top radar, which probably gives us a better look into this. And you can see that we have a tornado warning in effect now for northern Limestone County. The primary higher winds are moving into Limestone, northern Limestone, moving out of Lauderdale. And in a matter of minutes, we're going to be able to give an all clear to Lauderdale. And I know that that's probably a good thing. Some folks have been in shelters for a long time here, and being in a shelter is not a fun thing to do on a Saturday night or, quite frankly, anything or any time. But again, give us about 2 more minutes and we can give an all clear to the entire eastern half of Lauderdale County. Of course, for the Shoals, your danger ended 30 minutes ago. But if you're in Rogersville, Anderson, you should be in the clear here in a matter of minutes as those stronger winds have shifted into the northwestern corner of Limestone County of northwest Alabama. So again, just to get your bearings straight, Interstate 65 is right there. Elkmont is here. Athens is down here. And again, I stress, Athens is not in the polygon. We do not need to warn an entire county. We don't need to do that. One of the biggest problems we have in the weather enterprise today, it's false alarms. The false alarm ratio is way, way, way too high. Way too high. And we have to, as professional meteorologists, cut back on the number of warnings. It's almost like we have a warning addiction problem here. And you just cannot issue constant false alarms. We're always going to have them. We are always going to have false alarms. But when your ratio's up there at 80 and 90, 0.8, 0.9, 80% of tornado warnings are false, you're crying wolf, and we can't do that. We have to be better. And I'm hoping that we're going to work on that in the future as a weather enterprise here. But let me get off my soapbox and back onto the subject at hand here. Tornado warning in effect for northern Limestone. We do not see a tornado signature. There's very broad rotation that's up here in the northern part of Limestone, but it's not really your classic tornado signature here. We've also got really a better broad rotation sign up here in Tennessee around the community of Minor Hill, which is south of Pulaski. But even that's not your classic tornado look. So if you're in northern Limestone, the concern, strong straight line winds. If you are in eastern Lauderdale, all clear. We're going to give you an all clear. So Anderson, Rogersville, Lexington, you can come out of your tornado safe place. You're good. Tornado warning has been officially canceled by the Weather Service in Huntsville. So the only warning in the entire state, it's that one warning right here. This is for northern Limestone County. And this would include Elkmont. It does not include Athens or any points farther to the south. The Buc-ee's, you're not under a tornado warning. If you're in the Buc-ee's, you don't need to do anything. The Athens Buc-ee's, you're good. This is all north of there. But again, it just looks like the greatest concern right now, it's strong straight line winds with this. Again, watching more of the videos coming in. Looks like we're about to get some pretty good video from downtown Florence. And again, I thank everybody for the videos. And again, I can't show them all and post them all, but they are all greatly appreciated. It is basically my window to the world. In this case, I do have a window, but in many of my offices, I do not have a window. So being able to see the video from you and your phone, it's just outstanding. And that is greatly appreciated. So this is going to be some video of the storm that was coming through Florence this evening. Downtown Florence. Thanks to Adam Smith for shooting this. And we'll kind of watch this together. And again, you know, if there's a tornado there, it's going to be rain-wrapped. And you have to wait on a lightning flash. And even with a lightning flash, the tornado can be totally rain-wrapped and you can't see anything. But this was about an hour ago as the severe storm is coming through downtown Florence. The good news, the lights are on, but you saw a power flash there. See the power flashes off on the horizon. That's the one thing from all of these camera angles we have seen, multiple power flashes down at the surface, which indicates either a small tornado down or damaging straight-line winds. And we will know tomorrow exactly what's caused the damage there, whether it was a small tornado or straight-line winds. The radar signature certainly looked tornadic with the storm coming through the Shoals earlier tonight. But again, of course, we've got lightning too, and that's the one thing. You have to distinguish the difference between lightning and power flashes. But from time to time, you'll see kind of a blue flash near the ground. That would be the power flash. And again, this was taken about an hour ago. So, Adam, thank you for that video. It is extremely helpful. And this is the aftermath, by the way. A lot of trees have come down up in Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, the Shoals. And obviously, a lot of folks are sitting without power and electricity in that part of the state. I would imagine the Weather Service is not going to extend the tornado warning for that activity that's over northern Limestone up in North Alabama. Again, what you're seeing here, just evidence of strong straight-line winds up in that part of the state here. So let's go back to the Columbus Air Force Base radar, and wanted to look at the storms coming into Franklin County. And again, this is just noisy. Very noisy in through here. No evidence of any rotation. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, absolutely. And again, it's pouring rain up here in Florence. But your risk of a tornado just seems to be over. We don't see any evidence of any problems once you get past that initial surge. The problem shifts over to heavy rain and potential for flooding. Let's go back to the high-top radar. We'll take a look at the situation up in northern Limestone. And again, if you can identify a spot to watch, it's right here. And that would be to the west of Elkmont. Everybody needs to be sheltered. You know the deal. Respect the polygon. How many times do we say that? But as long as a polygon is there, we want folks to be in a safe place. Small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. No trailers, no mobile homes. That's a hard part. You need to be in a shelter. And if there's no shelter available, just find a gas station that's open 24/7 or some type of fast food restaurant that can serve as a shelter. And, of course, no driving. And understand that within this polygon, we've got Interstate 65 here, so we encourage no travel on Interstate 65 from Athens north, really, I'd say deep into Tennessee, almost up to Cornersville, Tennessee. I know it's a long stretch, but you just don't want to be on the highway when this stuff is going on. We had a vehicle that was overturned earlier today on Interstate 22 at New Albany, Mississippi, when a tornado came through there. There were some very scary radar signatures earlier today for the storms coming through parts of North Mississippi. But again, we're looking into northern Limestone. And again, this is north of Athens. Those heavier winds are coming into Elkmont. And then from there, they'll be coming into the Interstate 65 corridor. So US 31, I-65, the advice, don't travel north of Athens. And could this clip Madison County? Yes. I mean, everybody in the whole state's going to have rain and storms. But we're talking potential for either damaging wind or a small tornado. Possibly in northwestern Madison. Most likely this will be staying north of Huntsville. Just to get your bearings straight, Huntsville is down here. The greatest concern is right in through here, and that's moving a little north of east up toward Fayetteville, Tennessee, and again, maybe clipping the northwestern part of the state. Harvest is right here in Madison County. The town of Madison is down here. All of this will be north of Huntsville, north of Madison. But, again, right in through here, that northwestern corner of Madison County, you might deal with some high winds. And it seems to be along near the surface front. And sometimes when you've got storms near the surface front, they can be backed around to the southeast out ahead of the storm. With the winds aloft coming in from the west, that veering of the wind with altitude can set updrafts into motion, and accordingly, you might have a spin-up tornado here. But again, the better rotation is just across the Alabama-Tennessee state line in Tennessee. And again, that'll be crossing Interstate 65 pretty soon, just north of Ardmore. And down here in Limestone County, it just seems like the bigger issues would be from strong straight-line winds. And the tornado warning for Limestone is set to expire at 11:45 this evening. And we'll stay here as long as we have a tornado warning in effect. That's the way we do it. And again, we'll ride this out together. It's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. I'm speaking Monday morning at Mathis Elementary down in Foley. So tomorrow afternoon, I'll be driving down to Baldwin County. I'll spend the night down there, do the program at Mathis, and then come back for the regular shift on Monday. And once we get all this stuff out of here, keep in mind we're going to see a lot of folks with frost on the ground. Some folks may be getting a late season freeze by Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning of this coming week. I think the most widespread frost will likely be on early Wednesday morning. So growers beware. We always have a late season cold snap, but after that, we'll give everybody a thumbs up to go plant. All right, 11:25, we have rotation across the Alabama-Mississippi, or across the Alabama-Tennessee state line near Bethel, Tennessee, and that's moving toward Elkton and Interstate 65. The rotation in Pulaski County, Tennessee, should be near Elkton here pretty soon. And I say this is Giles County, not Pulaski County, Tennessee. So southern Giles County. Pulaski is in Giles County. And that rotation is very close to Interstate 65. It'll be there in about 3, 4, 5 minutes. Down into Limestone, again, we're just seeing a lot of wind in here, heavy rain. We're just not seeing much evidence of a tornado in Limestone, northern Limestone. But still, the polygon stays up. For now, it's scheduled to stay up until 11:45. So just hang tight, and I promise with all my heart, we'll give you an all clear as we can. And hopefully that will be sooner than later. Checking to see here. Watching some more of the video coming in here. Got some from the University of North Alabama. I've seen no damage. A lot of parents are asking about UNA. And I've seen no specific reports of any damage on the University of North Alabama campus tonight, which is a very good thing. Understand there could be some trees down, no doubt about that. But, again, I've not seen any reports of any structural damage. In fact, I got some video that has come in from UNA. We'll drop that in here. and see what that looks like. This was taken again earlier this evening. We have to wonder if that might be maybe a tornado in there. It is so hard to tell at night. And I've been doing this for 100 years, and even if you've been doing it for 100 years, it's very hard to see. But that certainly looks like what could be the best evidence of a tornado that we have seen so far. And again, this was taken from Logan Landers on the UNA campus. Of course, we're just looping the video. It's a 6-second video here. But maybe that could indeed be the tornado that came through the Shoals there. And again, we will know tomorrow morning when the Weather Service in Huntsville does a damage assessment to see if indeed that thing was down. But it's pretty impressive. All right, so back to the radar. Again, we try and keep you on current events here. We have what could be a tornado coming through Giles County, Tennessee. In fact, that couplet is looking a lot better. Tornado warning in effect for southern Giles County until 11:45, 12 miles south of Pulaski. And again, you can see it right here coming toward Elkton, Tennessee. And obviously, if you are in Elkton or along I-65, I-65 is right there. You clearly need to be sheltered for the circulation that you see right there. What you see down into northern Limestone in Alabama, that just looks like strong winds coming through Elkmont right now. The rain is heavy, it's windy. But again, there's just no evidence of a tornado down into northern Limestone County here. And we'll know here in a matter of minutes if they will extend the warning. I would not be shocked to see them extend the warning for counties in southern Tennessee. I just don't think that they need to do that for Madison. But naturally, now that I say that, they do. So this is for a very small part of Madison County. And the greatest concern, it's for Moore and Lincoln counties in Tennessee. So, again, let's kind of get your bearings straight here. So, this does not include the city of Huntsville. You are not involved. Harvest, no. New Market, no. This is a little bitty strip of Madison County right here. This is near the Tennessee state line. So, again, for most of Madison County, you're not involved. Again, Athens, you've never been involved here. But again, for New Market, Harvest, Moore's Mill, Huntsville, the town of Madison, which is right here, Gurley, which is down here, no. This is for the complex that is coming out of Limestone County, Alabama. You can see broad rotation near Elkmont. The greatest rotation is near Elkton, Tennessee, along Interstate 65. So, again, where there are counties where old legacy systems are in play here, you might hear a siren go off or something like that. But we want to stress this is for a very, very, very tiny part of Madison County. This is the northern extent of the warning right here. The southern extent of the warning for Limestone. But again, this is mainly for Moore and Lincoln counties in Tennessee for this circulation right here that's moving in that direction. So Fayetteville, Tennessee, you are clearly in the polygon. And again, this is going to be out of Limestone County here in a matter of minutes. It'll kind of clip this far northern part of Madison. This is northwest Madison County. And again, just a very small part of the counties involved in this. And the main concern, again, Moore and Lincoln counties in middle Tennessee. So again, that's the current situation. The new warning is set to go until 12:30 a.m. 12:30 a.m. All right, here. We're getting some more video coming in from the Tennessee Valley. In case you missed it from the Shoals, I think this is probably the best maybe look at what could be a look at the tornado here. This was taken from the UNA campus earlier tonight. And we got some more video coming in here too. We'll drop that in here in just a second. Again, it's 11:32, and we are watching a situation where tornado warnings have been posted for the Tennessee Valley tonight. And again, this is the current radar. We have really the best circulation on radar is near Interstate 65 in southern Tennessee, moving in the direction of Fayetteville, Tennessee. There's very, very, very broad rotation near Elkmont, Alabama. That's going to clip extreme north Madison County, north of New Market, north of Harvest, north of Moores Mill, far, far north of Huntsville. Huntsville is not involved in this. There's no tornado warning for the city of Huntsville. I want to make that perfectly clear. And let's see here. Sorry about that. Watching some newer video coming in from Huntsville. Huntsville looks good. Again, most of the damage we have seen, it involves folks around Florence and Sheffield, Tuscumbia, and Muscle Shoals. Let me see if I can drop some new video in here. We'll kind of watch this together. And there we go. This is going to be more video coming in from Northwest Alabama. I want to say this was taken around the University of North Alabama campus. We'll watch this together. Yeah, this is right by UNA. And again, person who shot this believes that with some of the lightning flashes, you might be able to see a tornado forming here, which is very possible. And again, from time to time in some of the videos we've seen tonight, we've seen evidence of what could be a tornado in the Shoals up in northwest Alabama. Again, this was about 10:15 earlier tonight when all this was happening. And again, we know for sure there's been a lot of trees blown down. And we got some power outages, but I've just not heard of any big structural damage. All the damage I've seen so far from Florence and the Shoals involves trees like this, and trees like this, and trees like this. All this happening about 10:15. But let's get back on that radar, which is what we do here. Again, let's get all the lines off the map. We'll kind of focus on what we're looking at now. So again, there's just a very tiny part of Limestone County in a tornado warning. As you can see, the Weather Service has trimmed it. Elkmont is in. Everybody else is out. And again, this has been for a fairly small part of Limestone County. So extreme northeast Limestone County, extreme northwest Madison County. And again, we want to make it perfectly clear. Huntsville, you have no problems from tornadoes here. Harvest, you're good. New Market, you're good. The warning is right here for extreme northern Madison, extreme northeastern Limestone, and then into Tennessee for Moore and Lincoln counties. And the best sign of any storm rotation here is going to be right here northeast of Elkton, Tennessee. In fact, there's the new volume scan. And you can see potential for what could be a small tornado here along or just east of Interstate 65 north of Elkton. And again, that's moving in the direction of Fayetteville, Tennessee. And it's not a classic tornado signature, but it certainly could be a small spin-up tornado there. And these type things will be coming and going. And we also note over here in the reflectivity that we've got this bow here. And understand with the bow, you could see some really strong winds. And we're seeing pretty strong evidence of strong winds right in through here, especially right here. Let's take a look at the velocities, and we're seeing winds of about 60 miles per hour at 3,200 feet. The beam height is much lower now because we're closer to the Weather Service radar at high tops. So about 60 miles per hour at 3,200 feet. That's some strong winds coming into Ardmore, Alabama, and Tennessee, Elkton, Tennessee. And if we see a small tornado, it's going to be north of Elkton, moving in the direction of Fayetteville, Tennessee. And again, down here in northeastern Limestone and extreme northern Madison, there's just not much there in terms of tornado potential. We see strong winds, yes, but even with that being the case, the strongest wind is most likely up here right on the Tennessee state line and then points north. This is your area of strong wind right in through here. So for the rest of the state, people are asking the question, can I go to sleep? Sure, you can go to sleep because I know that you've got a weather radio. And with a weather radio, you're going to be awake if anything happens. And, you know, people ask all the time, do I need to stay up all night? And then we say, no, if you've got a weather radio, then you're good. Trust me, that thing will wake you up if you need to wake up. But I think for most of Alabama, Huntsville, Cullman, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden, Jasper, Hamilton, Haleyville. I could mention towns all night here. I know everybody wants to know what about my hometown. But in your hometown, if you're in Alabama, the greatest problem most likely is going to be heavy rain and flooding. We note no tornado warnings over Mississippi. None. Zero. Most all those warnings are flash flood warnings. And that's why we're saying that. The big issue will be shifting from the chance of maybe a brief isolated tornado to heavy rain and flooding tomorrow morning. Could there be another tornado? Yes, but it's not likely. And there could be some very small hail, gusty winds, but this is going to be a big rain event. Rain amounts between 2 and 3 inches for much of the state. There's a flood watch in effect for the northern two-thirds of the state. But the encouragement here is just to have a weather radio. I mean, I promise they're wonderful. And the problem with phones, these are cool. In fact, there's a good chance you're watching me on a phone right now, which is just too stinking cool. But at night, most of these phones go into a sleep or a do not disturb mode, and you don't get notifications. And a lot of people have turned off WEA. WEA is wireless emergency alerts, and they turn them off because they don't like the Amber Alerts or they just don't like them. But understand, a WEA tone will wake you up. That is that very loud tone coming from every phone sold in the United States, and you get those for tornado warnings, high-end flash flood warnings, and Amber Alerts. And for some reason, people turn off the emergency alerts because they don't like Amber Alerts. I don't understand that. If a child is missing, surely you want to help. But please be sure that emergency alerts are enabled on your phone. And that way you'll get WEA. But again, it just looks like a wet, rainy, stormy, loud, obnoxious night for Alabama. And again, could there be an isolated tornado? Yes. But the greatest concern, it's just a lot of rain. And again, you can see that we've got the reason we're here, and we'll stay live for a little longer. We do have tornado warnings in effect for extreme North Alabama. And by that, we're discussing extreme northeastern Limestone and extreme northern Madison counties. This does not include Athens. This does not include Huntsville. This does not include Madison. This does not include Harvest or New Market. This is all near the Tennessee state line. And again, we'll stop the animation and we'll take a look at the velocity display. And again, it's kind of morphing into more of a straight line wind type thing up in here from Ardmore up into southern Tennessee. And we just don't see any evidence of a tornado down here in Limestone or Madison at this point. Could there be one? Yes, later. But again, the odds don't look that good at the moment. But you know what I'm going to say? Respect the polygon. And understand that if you're in a polygon, you need to stay sheltered as long as you're in that particular polygon here. And the polygon is for extreme northeastern limestone and extreme northern Madison counties. And again, we're watching some of the video coming in, which is pretty good stuff. A lot of this, of course, is coming in from Florence and Muscle Shoals earlier, when a pretty well-organized storm was coming in. We had either a small tornado or strong straight-line winds coming through. And this was about 10:15. But the good news, we've heard of no injuries, no major structural damage, and we hope that stays the case. Our friends in Arkansas, they have not been that fortunate, as you know. So let's see here. We got so many videos coming in here, they can be a little tricky to be sure I've got the right ones queued up. I think I do. I'm going to transfer these over. If you could only see the workflow that I go through on a night like tonight, you have to have be a severely good multitasker to make this work. And I can do that. I've been multitasking for a long time here. So let's take a look at this video, and I think this is going to be pretty good. I want to say this was taken from Wilson Dam and the Tennessee River. Looks like this might be a drone shot looking back into, oh, yeah, woo, goodness gracious, wow. That was pretty impressive. And that was a lightning strike, not a power flash, obviously. But thanks to Park Cochran for this video. Watch that lightning strike happen about right now. Wow. And we got some other pretty impressive shots here. This might be a still from that video. It was. This was taken. It was a still from the video that Park shot earlier. And again, I would suggest that we've seen a few videos here that suggest there might be a tornado involved here. Look at this. This was taken from Florence near the UNA campus about 10:15. Again, you can see what might be, and we don't know for sure. It might be a wall cloud. And at night, rain wrap, this is so hard to deal with. The easiest job in the world is when you've got a day event and the storms are not totally HP, they're more LP, and you can see things. And it just doesn't happen here that often. We are used to stuff like this. But we are back with the radar. Again, we're live here at 11:46. And we can almost totally give an all clear to those of you in Limestone County. Elkmont, you're good. Elkmont points north, points west and south, you're all clear. There's just a very tiny part of Limestone County in the warning, which is right here. This is Madison. But again, the greatest concern for stronger winds is across the state line in Tennessee. But again, the good news, the radar signature has really shifted into a more strong wind type thing instead of a tornado type thing over Tennessee. That does not look as good as it did. Looked pretty good coming over Elkton, Tennessee and Interstate 65. But again, that's mainly a straight line wind type signature. And those stronger winds are basically out of Limestone County. I'll just say this. If you're in Limestone County, even if you're up in that northeastern corner, in terms of a tornado threat, we'll give you an all clear so you can go back about your business. So the only part of Alabama in a tornado warning, it is for a very, very small part of northern Madison counties. And again, Hazel Green is right here. And Hazel Green, the polygon runs right in through here. So it kind of clips Hazel Green. And Hazel Green's only about 3 or 4 miles south of the Alabama-Tennessee state line. But the signature just not looking that good for a tornado at this point. We've got trees reported down in Anderson, up in Lauderdale County, that came in from the public. And just a whole lot of reports of trees down. Seems like most of the reports are trees that have been blown down. And of course, unfortunately, the problem is trees often blow down onto structures, which is not good. So let's see. I've got some more images I do want to show here. Looks like a tree has come down on a home, which is never a good thing. This is going to be from Center Star, which is east of Florence. And I don't think we've had any specific injuries from this, which is good. But again, this is why we want people sheltered during severe storms. Again, this is from Alicia Michael. Alicia, thank you, and I'm so sorry you had to deal with this. I just hate it when people send us photos, and we really appreciate the photos, but they've had major damage at their homes like this. Again, that was Center Star earlier tonight, which is east of Florence. And again, just watching a lot of the reports here, there's a lot of trees down. Again, this is a very common sight in Florence. If you missed it, this is what it looked like coming into the Shoals. And you see that the blue flashes near the ground, those are power flashes. And that often represents either a small tornado or damaging straight line winds. And from time to time, you'll see lightning strikes like that. But then from time to time, you'll see those blue flashes near the ground. And that was about 10:05, 10:10 when the storms were coming into the Shoals from the southwest. And again, this is what we've got coming through southern Tennessee right now, prompting tornado warnings there in extreme northern Madison counties. But again, the storms did bring down a number of trees. There has been some damage to homes, and obviously the greatest concern, it's the trees on top of homes like this. Again, this is Center Star along US 72. But we're going to see a lot of scenes like that. Of course, when we get the first light of day tomorrow morning, we'll have a much better idea of how the damage looks. And obviously a lot of power outages in play across northwest Alabama. This is some more video. This was taken from downtown Florence when the storms were coming through earlier tonight. And again, it's really hard to see a lot. Again, if there's a tornado there, it's rain-wrapped, and it's so hard to see. And we have hills, we have trees, we have buildings. It's tough on a night like tonight. But again, I think this video probably is the best look we've seen of that potential tornado potential that came through the Shoals. That might be a wall cloud. We don't know for sure. We'll find out tomorrow. And this is some more video coming from near the UNA campus. And for those mamas and daddies that have kids at UNA, we've heard of no specific damage to the campus there at UNA. We've got trees down, but no specific reports of damage, which is a very good thing. And again, I'll just say this. If you have to drive, be really, really, really careful, because so many people in images of trees down on roads. And you just don't want to be outside with a situation like this. This was just taken a little earlier this evening. This is at Rogersville. Rogersville is on US 72 east of Florence, just north of the Tennessee River. And I'm afraid we're going to see a lot of scenes like that over the western half of the Tennessee Valley. But it's 11:52. Let's go back to the radar. Again, for Limestone County, we'll give you an all clear. And the concern, it's for extreme northern Madison. And really and truly, the greater issues are going to be in Tennessee, up toward Fayetteville, with strong winds. And we don't see much evidence of a tornado. We've got some broad rotation here. But we should mention, this is along a surface front. North of that front, we've got 50. South of the front, we've got around 70-degree warmth. And sometimes a front can help to back the surface winds and create a couple of isolated tornadoes here. But clearly, the bigger issues are not in Alabama. They are in Tennessee. But for a little longer, we've got that little bitty skinny tornado warning polygon here that includes extreme northern Madison County. Really, Hazel Green right there in 431, you're not technically in the polygon. It's a little north of you. But again, we stress this is nowhere near Huntsville. Again, Huntsville is down here. Harvest, not close to you. New Market, not close to you. Fayetteville, Tennessee, right here. You're about to catch a pretty good blow here. But let's back it out and talk about what's to come for the rest of the night. And again, I just get the idea this is probably the last tornado warning that we'll deal with. There could be another one, yes. But again, the issue, it's just a lot of rain. So again, this is the tornado warning in effect for Fayetteville, Lynchburg, Tennessee, extreme northern Madison County. If you're in Limestone County, the risk of a tornado is ended. I know the weather is rotten. It's no good. You got thunder, heavy rain, lightning, but remember, that does not make a storm severe. To be severe, you need 58-mile-per-hour winds or greater, or 1-inch diameter hail or larger. So we got heavy rain falling over northwest Alabama, back into central and western Mississippi. And the big rain mass will just slowly creep southward. And the storms should reach Huntsville, Cullman, sometime probably toward 2 a.m., Birmingham toward 5 to 6 a.m., the same for Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden, Montgomery, late Sunday morning. Dothan, probably sometime tomorrow afternoon. And again, the main issue, it's the chance of heavy rain and flooding. In fact, I can show you the numbers here. We're expecting rain amounts in the 2 to 3 inch range for much of the state. And some spots could see more than that. This is the 7-day rain totals, but almost all of this will be tonight, tomorrow, into Monday. And the flash flood watch, or the flood watch, in effect for the counties in green on that map, as far south as Sumter, Marengo, Dallas, Lowndes, Montgomery, Pike, and Barber counties. And again, these are the approximate windows for the heavier rain, the heavier storms, the flooding. Obviously, the Tennessee Valley, northwest Alabama, now until 7 a.m. Birmingham, Clanton, Anniston, Gadsden, Tuscaloosa, Fort Payne, Demopolis, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then South Alabama, Mobile, Troy, Greenville, Dothan, Eufaula, Auburn, Opelika, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. And again, just a lot of rain amounts in the 2 to 3 inch range for much of the state. Maybe some small hail, gusty winds. Could there be an isolated tornado? Yes. but not especially likely. Again, what we've seen for the past couple of hours, that's probably about it when it comes to tornadoes. And that's a good thing. So we're going to be winding this down in that everything is basically out of Alabama. And that's kind of my domain. Once you get up into Tennessee, there's some great folks that'll take care of you. Our friends up at Nashville Severe Wex, David Drobny and those guys, they're the greatest. I mean, there's some amazing operators in Memphis and Nashville and through Tennessee, and they are so good. And I think there's one thing about weather. You really need to find the locals. They understand the people, the culture, the geography. They're not just reading towns on a map. They live there. They know these places. They know the people. They understand the microclimates. And that's why I like to focus on Alabama. I know this state better than anybody. But you get me out of Alabama, I'm not that good. And that's why you want to go to some of the locals there. But I will compile a number of the images that have been sent to me and post them on the social platforms, mainly on Facebook, Instagram, X, over the next couple of hours, and you get a chance to see some of the damage. So, again, it's pouring rain up in northwest Alabama, just pouring rain. The weather's not good. If you're in Hamilton, Russellville, Moulton, you're thinking, wait a minute. We've got severe storms. No, you don't. They're not severe. Remember, to be severe, you've got to have 58-mile-per-hour winds or 1-inch diameter hail. And we just don't see that on any of these storms in northwest Alabama. It's just a lot of rain. And the problem, this thing's not going to move much. It's going to sit there for hours and hours. And we could easily see some flash flood warnings going up in the middle of the night. So if you live in a flood-prone area, be aware that we're going to have a lot of flash flood warnings, I think, overnight tonight into tomorrow. Probably not many severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings. And that'll be the greatest concern. Rain rates are increasing over Lamar, Marion, Franklin, Lawrence counties. Still pouring in Florence. Got heavier rains coming into Pickens County. And again, notice in Mississippi there are no tornado warnings. None. Zero. And that's a good thing. And I just don't expect that many. And again, up in the Tennessee Valley, the segment that prompted the tornado warning for northern Madison, that's up into Tennessee. And again, Huntsville, you're just going to see a lot of rain. That's going to be the case for so many places around Alabama. So here at the midnight hour, we're going to wrap things up for now. And, of course, if we need to, we'll come back. You know me, I don't sleep. The last time I really slept a lot was in 1973 when I was in high school. I took a job at a radio station. I worked before school and after school, and I worked late at night, had to be down there at 4 o'clock in the morning. And here we are in 2025, and I still don't sleep. But it's okay. I'm energized. I feel better now than I felt 30 years ago. So lack of sleep is never a problem. I love waking up at 4 a.m. and doing what I do. I cannot wait to get up and do it. But again, if we need to come back on here and go live, we'll go live. And we'll watch these carefully overnight. But remember, the main concern, it's shifting from isolated tornadoes to flooding and heavy rain. Most of this stuff you see is outflow dominant, not really a classic tornado setup. It's just a lot of rain. And we will watch it very carefully. So if you're new here, thank you for watching. I simulcast these on my YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. Ding. And if you're on Facebook, it's on Facebook Live. We simulcast on both platforms. I do updates twice a day, even when there's nothing going on. Weekdays at about 5:15 a.m. and 2:45 p.m. But on the weekends, we do this as we need to. And what I handle all 67 Alabama counties, from the Shoals and Huntsville, Scottsboro, down to Gulf Shores. And again, I'll be in Foley Monday, Mathis Elementary School. And it's a joy to serve the state of Alabama. And we're going to build some really special things this summer that will make this so much better. And I promise it's going to be really good. So just stay tuned. But in the meantime, thanks. We're going to have watch my social channels over on Instagram, Facebook, and X. I'll post a lot of pictures and images you've sent us. Thanks for all of those images. And thank you for watching. And we'll be watching the weather like a hawk. And we will talk very, very soon. Y'all have a great night. We'll talk soon.